You're watching part number 5 of our mini-series about industrial IoT. In this part, we're looking at how Parnell Aerospace can leverage and integrate OT data with 3D visualization to introduce new types of scenarios, interaction with the data, and visualization of that data. So this is one way of leveraging the industrial metaverse, making sense of OT and IT data in context, extracting the right insights and taking action, putting your real world into the digital one and making the most out of it. But here's another way that will allow you to empower your workforce. Here you're looking at Azure IoT Central with an iframe that embeds the Azure Digital Twins 3D Scene Studio tool. That tool is about creating 3D views and attaching them to Digital Twins data in order to deliver an intuitive, productive interface for working with assets in factory floor in our case. As Parnell Aerospace wants to empower their employees and enhance efficiency, productivity, lower also the risks for their employees, here's a nice way for them to, whether they are an operator on the factory floor or a plant manager or a region manager, to inspect machines in real time and to get some insights into what's going on. So you've seen how rich the queries could be on Azure Digital Twins and Data Explorer. Now let's put that in a 3D view. Here in IT Central, I can see that 3D rendering of the globe with some pointers to the factories that we have here at Parnell Aerospace. Let me dive into the Everett one. And in the tool, I'm going to switch to the view mode for now. The tool here allows to create the 3D views as well as visualize them. Then you can export them for them to be embedded into a web page, an application, or something else. So here I have a rendering of my CNC machines along with some conveyor belts. And I'm also visualizing some, colors here indicating a state of the machine. I can select that one machine here and visualize that the machine health has been reported a certain way. And in that case, warning was a number of parts made, defective parts none, but it seems like the health is not. Optimal temperature is a bit high or level a bit low, but my color is still green, which is something that's, not okay here. And the reason why it is green is because what I want to show you is how you can work with that 3D environment, not just use it to visualize, right? That would be too easy. So my digital twin has several factories, and I have one in Portland, one in Dallas. So this is the data. This is the twin for my factory floors. And what I want to do is I want to represent one of the factories is missing. So the Tampa Bay one is not in the map. So what I want to do is add one for Tampa and show you how easy it is, right? So I want to add a new factory here. The scene itself will be called Parnell Aerospace Tampa, and I will show on the globe, and I will pick a 3D file. It takes several types of formats. I will use the same as for the other ones, GLTF one, and I will eventually also position that on the globe. So Tampa is located at 27.95 something north, and minus 45 something east. And so we now have this Tampa factory floor has been added. Let me get into it. So here you see we have no elements. So we're going to have the 3D file is going to load here, but nothing is attached in terms of digital twin data. I'm going to create a new element. That element will be based on the twin, and I'm going to pick the Tampa Bolt Machine 1, which is one of the twin that I have in my digital twin. And I will pick the meshes that I'm interested in on the graphics to represent, the data of this one bolt machine. So let me pick this guy here. That will be this machine here. And now I can attach behaviors. I will add one. There's already one behavior, which is called health monitoring. We'll go back to this one after. And I'm just leveraging that one. And I will say create element. boom. And this element now, is here. We'll have information displayed onto it and the behaviors, which are the health monitoring one. If I want to edit that one, I can see that we have some widgets that will be displayed. We have a status that will be taken into account, which is based on the defective parts made over the total parts made, and that's a percentage. And depending on the outcome, I will change the color of the machine here. So you see in the coloring here is about the quality of the parts that are produced. And then here you see the different widgets I'm going to use, which is actually a direct pick on the twin value, like the oil level, the temperature, and so on, that I can extract from this view here. So no need to code anything. I just can leverage what's going on, in my digital twin in that UI. And now I have this view of my Tampa factory floor, where I have a certain number of defective parts, that have been highlighted here. What interesting. And I can go and dive into what's going on here, right? So this is an interesting, thing that I was able to build in a matter of like seconds or minutes, maybe, which is a 3D view that is interactive of my factory floor, which is now allowing my workforce to interact, to inspect remotely, as well as get insights, without having to dive into data. They have alerts right at a fingertip.